Hey, everybody, this is your mouthy Mama Shelley from Talking Trash and Truths, and I am going over my favorite movie stuff. Some are movies, some are actors, some are actresses. But we're going to do this in two parts. So I'm going to have six categories for each one. First category on this one is horror. My favorites are Halloween, still scares the crap out of me. Friday the 13th, no spoilers, but the ending, holy shit. And then Scream 1 and 2. The rest of the Screams, they sucked. I didn't like them. I liked 1 because it set the story, and 2 because it had Liev Schreiber in it, and who doesn't love Liev Schreiber? He's just, I love that man. But yeah, Halloween was scary as fuck. Friday the 13th, nightmares for weeks. And Scream 1 and 2, they were the shit. They were the bomb. Then you have my favorite comedians. And these are just general like comedians. I love their stand up. I love when they're in movies and TV shows and whatever. And 2 out of 3 are not with us anymore. So you have Don Rickles, Mr. Warmth, who I pretty much base my comedic delivery on. Robin Williams, who is, as I've said before, my spirit animal because he's as crazy as I am, or he was. He both extremely funny men, extremely great at improv. I'm very good on my feet, so I have a lot to relate to. And then the third one would surprise people because the other two are kind of, like my generation and my grandmother's generation. This one is very much mine and my kids' generation. It's Kevin Hart. I don't care what anybody says. Kevin Hart is fucking funny. His facial expressions and the shit he comes up with, he's hilarious. And he's so tiny, I want to take him and put him in my pocket. He says he's 5'3". No, he's not, because I'm not that short. I'm 5'3". He's got to be like 5 feet. Then you have comedy shows that I've seen, and these happen to be my 3 favorites. So there's Chris Rock, Bigger and Blacker. God, that was fucking funny. You will laugh from beginning to end in that entire thing. It's just, who gets the big piece of chicken? Daddy gets the big piece of chicken. Like, it's just like, put some tussin on it. Just different shit like that. Girls who don't like to give blowjobs. You guys are like Betamax. They still make you? Like, what the hell? You're obsolete. Get out of here. Then you have Eddie Izzard, Dress to Kill. Eddie Izzard is a executive travesti. Like, he's an executive transvestite. We don't even use that word anymore, transvestite. We don't say cross-dresser. We say they're in drag. It's like, okay, well, whatever, he wears drag. But he'll tell you he's a heterosexual male. Extremely funny. He's British. So many jokes, just I use them all the time as references. Like, I'll be talking to my ex-husband, all of them. He's like, how much it cost you? I'm like, rack of babies. Babies on racks. We got racks of babies. And he's just like, mm-hmm. He's like, but, oh. I'm like, oh, squirrel? Did I leave the gas on? Like, he's just fucking funny. Like when he thought he lost his virginity and he's making, getting ready to make breakfast for this chick that he thought he slept with. And she's like, you're in a good mood. And he's like, yeah, I lost my virginity. She's like, oh, yeah? With who? What? With you? What? Like, with you? And she was like, no. He was like, yes, yes. And they had a conversation. And someone mentioned premature ejaculation. And he said, no. Mature ejaculation. The washing up the dishes ejaculation. Like, and he was just like, he said, nope. She was the United Nations of my virginity. And she said, nope. Like, I did not lose it. He's just fucking funny. And then, of course, there's, God, who's better? Eddie Murphy. Both delirious and raw. Delirious had me fucking dying. The first time I heard it, the second, third, fourth, 100th time. Didn't matter. Hilarious. He's like, "Oh, come get Bunny." Bunny fell down the steps. Boom, 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 boom. Ah, oh, my shoe. Boom, 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 boom. And he goes through this whole thing. And he's like, "I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like your wife. I don't like your kids." He said, fufu. What the fuck does fufu mean? He's just fucking hilarious. And then in Raw, he makes fun of so many people in Raw. He's like, "Tell Bill," because Bill Cosby was like, "I'd like to talk to you about some of the things you say in your show." And he like puts him down, and yeah, he's like, "You can't say filth, florin, filth, florin, filth." And Eddie Murphy's like, "I didn't say that." And he's like, "You know what I mean. You can't say fuck." And he hung up with him, and he said he called Richard Pryor up and was like, "Yeah, he's all bummed out." And Richard Pryor was like, "You tell Bill I said have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up." It was just hilarious when he's like, he goes, "You could get your woman to do anything if you just make her make that one sound, that ooh, ooh." And once she goes, ooh, that's it. You just do whatever the hell you want. You get real cool. She'd be like, "You want something to drink? I don't know. Why don't you get it on your way out?" You know, he explained how guys are, and as a joke, but it's still funny because it's true. Then we have the classic movies. Citizen Kane. Oh, Rosebud. You have, I'm not telling you a lot of the synopses on these movies because I really want you to see them. Citizen Kane was based on uh, two mainstream media publishers. Like they each had a newspaper or a news, whatever, and they were competing and trying to like push each other out of business. And they would lie and steal and cheat just to have the monopoly on the news business because that's where the money was. Let's see, we have The Manchurian Candidate, not the one with Denzel Washington. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't the old one. This is the one with Frank Sinatra in it, and it's chilling when you watch it. Oh my god, it's as chilling as that scene in MASH when Alan Alda, Hawkeye, is leaving. He's on a bus, and there's like, I guess, like the enemy soldiers are listening, and they're supposed to be super, super quiet. And he hears a chicken on the bus, and he starts yelling at the lady who's holding the chicken, "Shut that goddamn chicken up." And he cracks up after that because you find out later it wasn't a chicken that he made her silence, it was her baby. But his mind couldn't deal with that because he had spent all these years under enemy fire putting boys back together, that got blown up in the war. And it was just too much for him that after all this, all these savings, losing all these young kids, really, he made this lady silence her baby the only way she could so that they wouldn't get caught and killed. She took the baby out, suffocated it, basically. And it was so sad. But this, like, Manchurian Candidate, it has that same, like, like, you get like, how could that happen? Like, oh my God, how could you get to that point? And it's just very jarring, but it's very moving, and it'll stick with you if you make it through the movie, which a lot of people don't because it's long. I mean, it's not ridiculous, but it's long. I think you'd enjoy it. And then my third favorite of the classics is Wuthering Heights with Laurence Olivier. He plays Heathcliff. I always loved the book, and when I saw that movie, that was it. I was just in love for like the rest of my life. Then you have the action films, which I love. Red, Bruce Willis, Helen Mirren, Morgan Freeman, John Malkovich, Richard Dreyfuss. Just so good, so good, and it's just nonstop, and it's funny too. I think that one you'd really, really like. Expendables. If you didn't see Expendables already with Sylvester Stallone and like the guy that they call Christmas in the thing, the one that nobody understands what the fuck he's saying. This one's really good. All the Expendables are amazing. I do really, really like the one with Mel Gibson. But there's so many cameos by action stars. I love it. You just go through the whole thing, go, look who it is, look who it is, look who it is. It's just, I don't know, it's a throwback for everybody who likes that kind of thing, like me. And then there's Indiana Jones. And when I say Indiana Jones, I don't mean all of them. I didn't like Temple of Doom. I don't know why. I didn't like the skull one. The one with his father. Me, a little bit. But Raiders of the Lost Ark, that was it. I mean, they could have stopped after that and I'd have been thrilled. But I love Raiders of the Lost Ark. Snakes. I hate snakes. Just, oh God. The part where the guy takes out like the torture device and it winds up being a hanger, hilarious. The worst scene for that is definitely the plane scene where the guy gets shredded. That was disgusting. And lastly, which one did I want to do on here? I think the dramas would be the most to follow up what I was saying. For dramas, Jane Eyre with Timothy Dalton, because there are a million versions of Jane Eyre, but I love the one with with Timothy Dalton. The one after that that I enjoy has William Hurt, and there's yet another one. I can't remember the actor that's in it. He wasn't like super, not super famous, but he was like British famous. I can't remember, but Jane Eyre, like all the versions, I love, but the Timothy Dalton one was by far my favorite. Pride and Prejudice. I love the one with Keira Knightley, but it's the Pride and Prejudice from the BBC with Colin Firth. Colin Firth? Colin Firth. I think that's his name. I always get the Collins confused. Um, yeah, because it's Colin Firth, Will Ferrell, Will Smith. Yeah, I think. Anyway, so that's the one that I prefer. And then there's Gone with the Wind. Scarlet. Who doesn't love Scarlet? I mean, really. How could you not love that woman? So I always felt a kinship with her because I tend to, I can be manipulative. I can, bat my eyes and get my way, put my boobs up and, play the damsel in distress. I don't like to, but I can. Anyway, those are the first 6 groups. That's part 1, and part 2 is to follow. If you like this, please do all the YouTubey things and hit that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, share the shit out of this, and you do everything to help the channel. I thank you for doing whatever you can, and I will see you in the funny papers. Bye.